This is my friend John Farmer, and I am so excited to have him on. John has been in the music industry for 30 plus years. He's a filmmaker. He's all about helping vets in his projects, and I'm very excited to have you on today, John. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Well, thank you. No, it's great to be here and good to see you again after all these years.
Definitely. Yeah, we go way back from junior high school. So it's fun to be here as grown-ups and talk about what we're doing today, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Good to catch up with old friends.
Absolutely. So one of my favorites, your biggest project here, the City of Salt. So you just barely kind of launched that out to the world.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that movie.
Let's see. Well, City of Salt is about a girl who basically comes out, that she's, gay, and that she, it's right in the middle of her father's political campaign here in Salt Lake. This is the reddest state in Utah, so of course he's running, as a Republican, and she mysteriously vanishes during the campaign, and the film is just basically about what happened to her, where and just goes through kind of the sequence of events of when she ended up missing. So and it just kind of digs into the underbelly of what Utah is all about regarding religion. But the one thing that I have to make really, really clear about this is that everybody is flawed, and it's just like reality. We don't point fingers at the church, we don't point fingers at LGBTQ people, we don't point it is literally just a morality play of life. And what we do on a daily basis, it touches on subjects of suicide, all sorts of things that are every single day life situations: drug abuse, suicide, LGBTQ things, religion. It's a slice of life basically in a day in life in Utah.
Right. And, I can relate to that just from being raised in Utah, having, gone through a drug addiction, having tried to explore the Mormon religion and it really not resonating for me. And yeah, you're right. We are all human. And I think all those things happen no matter what religion you're in or who you are.
It doesn't matter what religion.
Right.
Yeah, this isn't just a Utah thing. And that's one of the things that we wanted to make absolutely clear in this, is that this is not just a Utah thing. It happens to be in Utah, but it is not a Utah thing. You have this problem in every single state, every single nation on this planet.
Mm-hmm. And what I can say, just being from Utah, in my own opinion, through my own filter, is and not even really just in Utah, but we've been raised with this belief that we have to sweep things under the rug and we can't talk about it, and we're going to look like bad people if our kids are drug addicts or our parents are drug addicts. And we're just blowing that stigma out of the water with this movie. It just is like it raises this awareness that it doesn't, drug addiction, suicidal thoughts, depression run everywhere in the world. It's a global thing.
It is not. Yeah, this is not just a Mormon thing. This is not just a Catholic thing. This is not just a Presbyterian thing. This is not just a Utah thing. This is everybody thing. This is a world issue. And we wanted to bring that to the forefront for everybody that, it's a cultural movie, but it's not just about Utah.
Yeah. Well, I love that you push the envelope, because I think the one common thread that all those things create are shame in all of us, whether we are the parents of a kid of a drug addict or we're the kid of the drug addict. It creates shame in the drug addict, shame in the parents, shame in the cousins, shame in the aunts and uncles or whatever. People become ashamed of these people. And, that is where I would love to break that stigma, because that shame is so sabotaging, and it doesn't serve to have that shame and to open up a dialogue and just be able to say, what, it's just a part of it. It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that this movie brings to the forefront is addressing those situations, addressing the core problem, and how people handle these things. It's nobody's perfect, so there are certain things in this movie where people make some serious mistakes, and then they regret, and then they try to resolve it, or take matters into their own hands and resolve these things. So it really tries to resonate with everybody.
Right. How did the idea come to you?
Well, that would be my wife who came up with this. She wrote a play when she was or a poem when she was going to Westminster, um, Pyramus and Thisbe, and so originally this was supposed to be a comedy, and we got about 50 pages in, and it was about a band that was getting back together again and all this, and it was kind of showing their lives and how they all come back together, and we just ended up getting writer's block, and it just sat on the table forever. And finally had some friends from out of town, from high school, come into town, and we went over to the Cotton Bottom, and we were having a couple of beers, and we started talking about our writer's block. And our friend, his wife, ended up saying, well, what if somebody dies? And that was the end of it. All of a sudden, the bells and the whistles and the lights and everything went off, and we rewrote it. Well, I should say she rewrote it, and she wrote it in 5 days. And it just came to her, and she used the base of her play, or excuse me, her poem, and wrote the entire thing just based around that. And it literally had everything. It had the senators in it, it had the family, it had the daughter, it had all of that stuff already laid out. So it was built around that, and that's how that was born. Was actually sitting around a table at a bar, like, hey, what if somebody dies? And
That's
it's like, oh
amazing.
my god, yes. But
Got
we
it.
can't tell you if somebody dies. But I mean, there could be somebody that dies. I don't know. Well, you have to
Yeah,
watch it.
yeah, and you have to watch and see, right?
Have to watch now. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. I'm not even going to tell anybody anything about it because you have to watch it. It's gripping. It's a thriller. Um, it makes you realize that you can be okay not being okay, and
We've
it makes
had
you like that we're all human.
Yeah, and we've actually had people come to us, and they're saying that is how they use the film as a platform to be able to come out.
There you go. I love that.
So and for me, I looked at it as, if we can just change one life, then the film's done its job. We don't have to change a million lives, even though that'd be fantastic. But if it affected one person, then we've done our job.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It definitely affects, um, it affects, I wish I would have, sometimes you wish things would have come out earlier when you know what I mean, when you were going through your hard times and things like that.
Yeah.
But for people going through this now, and we've come a long way in the LGBT community and all that stuff, but we still need to come a lot further.
Oh
and,
yeah.
and excuse me, we need to come a lot further in the sense of equalness with everybody. You know what I mean? And so I think that this movie is a great, huge stepping block to get us to that next level of awareness.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
So the other thing that you do is you have a radio show and station. So tell me a little bit about that.
So this is kind of so how it all began was in 2008 when the recession hit. I've been a musician. I was touring. I was playing everywhere, and I was also great in sales. Did sales most of my life. The recession hit. I owned a previous company. It was a grocery store and a retirement high-rise. And they lived through the Great Depression the first time. So when the recession hit, they took all their money. And when I was making a whole bunch of money one month, it went all away. They put all their money in their mattresses and called it good. And I had to close down. So one morning I woke up and I said, well, crap, what am I good at? I don't have a job now, and the recession's hit. It's impossible to find work. What am I good at? And I was like, I'm great at music and sales. And literally it was like radio. So Me and a good friend of mine, my guitar player actually of the band, is a tech genius. I said, dude, I need to get a radio station started. So he helped me get an online radio station, which started promoting local music right here in Utah. And so within a matter of 6 weeks, I started getting music from all over the country, and I kept pushing them off saying, hey, I can't do this. I gotta, I'm just trying to build Utah's music scene. And finally, another day, I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, obviously, there's a need for this. So then I started American Musicians Radio. And so then I opened up the floodgates and started bringing in bands from all over the country and giving them a place for their music to be played. And within a matter of maybe 2 months after that, I got my first international band from Norway. And from there, we just blew up, and now it's global music radio. And I have a brand new business partner. His name's Trevor, and he has helped build this back up to where it is today. And so we're finishing up our brand new website. And so it's literally going to compete against Pandora, iTunes, all those other, Spotify. But we've got a global force right now. We've got people working for us all around the world. They're volunteering their time. They're amazing people. And so they're playing music from Bangladesh and Egypt and Australia and Canada, all these places. Kenya is another one, which is just fantastic. Zimbabwe, that's another one. So we're just moving and shaking. And that actually happened because of COVID, because I turned to Trevor and I was like, hey, everybody's home right now and they don't know what to do. So we really need to expand. So because of COVID, we actually expanded our company into all these countries, and we're going to be growing more here in the next couple of months. So you can go to gmr.fm, which is Global Music Radio, but just gmr.fm, and you can listen to the greatest music you've never heard.
Awesome. I can't wait to get into that one.
It's a lot of fun. And the musicians just from Utah alone. I mean, yeah, the Killers and the Used and Neon Trees and Imagine Dragons, all these bands and Royal Bliss, can't forget Royal Bliss. Mm-hmm. All of these amazing bands that are coming out of Utah that are influencing the music that you hear today, and it all comes from Utah. And so why not support and build our community? It's already stifled enough. Let's build it up. Let's get them. Let's raise them up and build this community. So in doing so, we're also building our community, our local businesses, because we're only dealing with local businesses to support and advertise on our radio stations too. So
that's awesome.
I build it from the ground up.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love Royal Bliss. I remember going to a concert out there years ago, probably in like 2000, I don't know, 6 or 7. And this massive rainstorm came through, like massive, and it just drenched. It poured down so hard. And we were immediately, your knee-jerk reaction is to run for cover. We were like, no, we took off our shoes. We danced in the rain. We got soaking wet. And so half the people left, and it was an outdoor concert. And we just stayed and got drenched. It was the funnest concert I've ever been to.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. No, hey, I mean, if you can't dance in the mud, then you're not dancing. You're not living,
right? You gotta get up.
You're not living if you can't dance in the mud.
That's awesome. So, okay, so future projects. What else have you've got some new things going on? And
yeah, so we just released a short. It's called Polygamy Gone Wrong. It's in black and white. Have you ever seen The Lighthouse? Did you see The Lighthouse with William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson?
No.
Oh, watch that film. Big plug for The Lighthouse. People, watch that film. It is a fantastic film. But so Polygamy Gone Wrong is kind of in the same vein. It's black and white. We shot it and brought it into 35 millimeter. They actually did it in 35 millimeter film. They went all out on this. It was crazy. for the lighthouse. But for us, it's all digital, but it's black and white. It's a short, and it's about sister wives taking their husband out to do this ritual that they do annually, and fun ensues. Polygamy style that goes really wrong. So,
oh my gosh, that is so funny. Another pushing the envelope. I love it.
Yeah, and again, it's a Utah thing, but
yeah, but it's very real. And for people who outside of Utah, I remember when we had the Olympics in Utah, and people were like, "God, I didn't even know it was on the map." I mean, really, people.
Oh yeah, it's a dark hole.
Curious about Utah. People want to know, and people who are not from there don't understand the polygamy thing. And so it's good to raise awareness with that too, and just the history of it, and what it was about, and what it's still about, and how it's evolved, how it's changed, and how where it is today.
Yeah, it's amazing. As you get the three main questions: Are you Mormon? Do you ski? And how many wives do you have? Those are the three questions, that the main staples of Utah questions. How many wives do you have? Do you ski? And if you don't ski, the follow up is, you live in Utah and you don't ski?
Right.
Tell me I'm wrong. and then the how many wives do you have? It's a fantastic one. But this one, again, this is very art house, but so what this, we actually had a $250,000 set built for us, that from the old Outpost series. We have a friend of ours that ended up purchasing that, and so we used that and rebuilt it for us. And it's amazing. It is absolutely an amazing set. The people that put this together, I can't even speak volumes. Kudos to these guys and the hard work that they put in. Everybody. I mean, even City of Salt, we had vets, disabled vets. We had disabled people on City of Salt. We had everybody. We had people from the LGBTQ community. We actually even had bishops help with the verbiage for the bishop scene that's in City of Salt. So we actually had true hardcore Mormons that wanted to help get this message out, help make this film. So I wanted to plug that in as well. But yeah, so with Polygamy Gone Wrong, it's this one's more of, we decided to turn this into a dark fairy tale, is what we've called it. And that leads us into our new project, which is called The Witch of Wander Lane. And this one will be we're actually turning this one into a series, and we've got people from all over helping us put that together. And this one's going to be another phenomenal film. I'm undoubtedly sure we're gonna, we've already won like 27 awards for City of Salt and 16 nominations. Before we even released Polygamy Gone Wrong, we've already won 4 awards now and 6 nominations, 4 awards. So and it just before we had it released, and then we won another 6. So I mean, I just can't wait to see what the Witch of Wander Lane puts out there. So,
well, that's awesome, dude. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for sharing this information. I think it's so valuable. I think it's important. I think it's an awesome message that you are giving to the world, of just raising awareness. I mean, because that's all I'm trying to do too, is just, raise awareness, talk about uncomfortable things. And if people don't want to talk about it, they can at least watch and they can listen, and they can just kind of evaluate their, through their own filter or whatever. Not everybody wants to come out and talk about their story, but it definitely helps to raise awareness and just help people understand things that they don't understand. You know what I mean? Because most people, we're afraid of what we don't know, right?
Yeah. So. And that's how they are able to control your actions, by using fear. It's silly. It doesn't matter what it could be. It could be your job. They just use that every day. Oh, if you don't do this, it's like, oh shit, I better get this done.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and you know what? We're all about empowering each other. You know what I mean? And and I don't want to say we the little people, but I just want to, the more we know, the stronger we are, the more empowered we are, the more we become one world. And whatever happens up in the higher powers or whatever, we become one world, and we become connected and more connected, and we can identify and understand each other better.
Yes.
And that is a beautiful thing. That equals love, right?
Exactly. Agreed 100%.
Dude, thank you so much. You
Absolutely.
are
Well, thank you for thinking of me.
absolutely. Yeah. When this is done, I'll plug everybody into all your information so they know where to find you.
Okay.
And I cannot wait to see the next project. And I will definitely be a huge support for sure.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You bet. Have a great weekend.
You too.